You are listening to the Make Space podcast, episode number 41. Today we're talking about mood board magic, how they can transform your spaces, and a super cool mood board challenge I have coming up where you can design a space and win $500 to Home Depot.
Home, home, just wanna go, home, home, back home. I've been going for way too long. Home, just wanna go, home, home. I'm on my way back home.
Welcome to Make Space, a home design show made to inspire you to create spaces you truly feel at home in. Cara Newhart sits down with amazingly brilliant guests for conversations that dive deeper than pin-worthy rooms to tease out the essentials of creating spaces that feed your soul and inspire your creativity. From home design strategies to decor advice to interior design tips and tricks, these conversations help you dream up a beautifully lived-in home. Cara is the designer and chief creative enthusiast behind Never Skip Brunch. Her work has been featured in print publications like People Style Watch and Denver Style Magazine. As an influencer, Cara has collaborated with brands like Amazon, H&M, Twitter, and Thrillist. Here's your host, Cara Newhart.
Hello and welcome back. Oh my gosh, I am so excited to be back. If you don't know, I just wrapped up hosting a 3-week furniture flip challenge with Do It Yourself magazine, which was so much fun, but so intense because I tried to flip 3 pieces in 3 weeks. I got 2 done and they look amazing. The third one still needs some work. I know a lot of you participated along with me, and I loved seeing all the before and after photos. Seriously, so many good transformations. So that was a blast. I hope you'll join us for season 2. If you missed out, it's coming up in the spring. But today I have a super exciting episode, and I feel like not only are you going to learn so much that's really going to help you design your spaces, but there's also something super cool that you can be a part of, and I will get to those details soon. But today we're talking about mood boards. I believe mood boards are the key for taking your DIY design from it looks good to it looks designer. So today we're covering the essentials of making a mood board. Plus, I'm going to dish on all my hacks and apps that I use to do this. This is actually a very exciting episode because it comes with a very specific way for you to hone your mood board skills. So if you follow me on Instagram, some of you may know that I'm actually doing a room makeover this week with the Home Depot. I'm transforming my living room, but for all of you listening to this when it drops, you are actually the very first to know that I have a mini mood board challenge going live this Friday. I teased it on Instagram, but you're getting the inside scoop for how to participate. And basically through this episode, you're getting coaching for how to do an amazing mood board. So you are like in the running, gonna crush this challenge. So for this challenge, all you have to do is create a mood board for your space, incorporating some Home Depot decor products. Yes, they have decor like couches and lamps and throws and all kinds of things. It's amazing. We'll get to that in a second. And then you just share this little mood board that you make on your Instagram feed or in your stories. And then I'm going to be picking a winning space, and the winner is going to get $500 to Home Depot. So you can buy some of these awesome decor products or fund your next DIY project. So this is super fun because it literally lets you flex those DIY designer muscles and practice designing a space, but then also be entered to win free money to Home Depot to make it happen. So we'll find out the specific details for like how to enter and all of that on my Instagram post this Friday. So be sure to follow along and Never Skip Brunch. But for now, let's dive into how to create amazing mood boards that don't just look gorgeous, but also help give you a clear vibe and direction for your space. So the first thing that I want to talk about is just to really encourage you to embrace the design process. So creating a mood board might feel like it's an extra step. It might feel like something extra you have to do that maybe you don't have to do if you're DIY designing. But you are literally, with a mood board, you're creating a cohesive plan for your space. And this is honestly how you get that designer look. Even the best of designers don't just design off the top of their head. They have a reference, they use loads of tools to visualize all the planned elements in the space and see how they work together. And that's exactly what a mood board is. It's like a visual representation of the artistic design creative process that's going on in your head. It helps you get kind of everything out where you can see it and you can really see what's working. So embrace this process of creating a mood board. It's not a waste of time. It will help you make sure things are cohesive, match colors, think of ideas that you didn't even plan on doing. When you see everything and you can touch it, there's something really like helpful about that in terms of creativity, and that like being able to touch things and move things around, or even digitally being able to rearrange and delete and try on different looks for your room. It's like amazing. And so I just want to encourage you to get dedicated to this process. Carve out time and make it a priority, because mood boards will literally change your design game and they will literally make your space so much better. Okay, the second thing I want to talk about is that inspiration is different than a mood board. Basically, inspiration comes before your mood board. So Pinterest is a really good place to play if you are struggling to define your vibe, or you're really struggling to see like a theme in the things you're drawn to, which I've talked a lot about, like personal style and how the best way to find your style is to pin a bunch of stuff you love and then look for themes through it all. So if you're struggling to kind of carve out specifics in vibe and themes of your style, Pinterest and creating an inspo board is like your first stop. And then a mood board is like the second step that's going to help you visualize the actual elements that you plan to put in the space. That doesn't mean there's not still room to play and trade things out and try things on, but mood board is more like real world, what are we actually going to potentially do in the space, and inspo is more like dreaming, let's think of all the possibilities, let's pin lakefront beach houses because they are the vibe we want and we don't live anywhere near the beach, we're in landlocked Texas, whatever it is. So if you haven't gone through the inspiration process for your space, I would recommend doing that. I have like a whole episode on Pinterest and how to like translate inspo into real world things. So that's a good place to start. And then you can start creating your mood board. Okay, so I want to break down my mood board process for you, and hopefully this will give you some great ideas for your process. If you're new to this is literally something you can just steal mine and try it till you find what works for you. That's really the best approach in terms of creative processes. I think that's like how we learn. What's coming to mind is this really good book by this guy named Austin, and I forgot his last name, but it's called Steal Like an Artist. And that's basically like what you have to do. You have to try things on, try things out until you can like define your own creative voice. That being said, my mood board process is up for grabs. If you want to steal it, use this. It works perfect. So first, I like to start with an actual photo of my space. As a very visual person, having an actual photo of this space just really helps me to like visualize what's going to happen in there. Some people that mood board don't include this because they don't want to be like constrained by the space. They want to see if everything works cohesively. Whatever you want to do is fine. But what I really like to do is clean out my room a little bit before I take this photo. So if I know there's anything that is not going to be in the space, I remove it. Any decor items that I'm even just not sure I want to put back in the space, I take them out, and then I take kind of like a clean blank slate photo. This is kind of my workaround for I don't want to draw up anything in any kind of crazy design programs like SketchUp or Floor Planner or whatever it is, or CAD. I want to just work off of like quick and easy design. I don't want to get really involved with software. So I frankly just design off of the space itself. I take measurements, and then I kind of go from there. So number one, I take a photo of the actual space. Number two, I start to take photos of the decor items that I already have. So some of those things that we pulled out of the space to take the photo that we didn't know if they were going to go back in, I take a photo of them. If there's a photo online, like if it's something that I bought recently, I actually usually use that instead just because it's a cleaner photo. It often comes with a white background that you can remove, and I'll tell you a trick for doing that here in a bit. And I just take time to take pictures of those things because this lets me like move them around, change them out, and figure out what I want to put back in, and also what things I can add to play off of those if there's something I'm really loving. So after I have the decor items that I already have, I move on to screenshotting things that I plan to buy or just items I'm like testing out for this space. So when I did my Home Depot mood board, I went to like their home decorators collection, which is like the collection that I was working in, and I screenshotted a bunch of different things and then just kind of like put them in to the mood board one by one, flipped them out. I also do, like, when I say things you're testing out for this space, that might mean stuff that you're not necessarily going to buy, like maybe it's out of your budget, maybe it's, you can't get it because you can't find it on sale. Whatever it is, you can test out an item and then try to like either find or DIY a similar item. So I often put things in just to try it on. For example, on my mantle, I was trying out like a lot of giant mirrors, a lot of really interesting like textured art type pieces that weren't like a square framed regular situation. And so these were things that I literally pulled as like from my inspo photos that weren't necessarily going to go in the space exactly, but it gave me like a visual of, do I want a mirror or do I want art? Do I want, plants or do I want like a lamp, whatever it is. So I'm screenshotting items that I'm going to test out in the space, and saving them all in a folder on my desktop. And little pro hack, you can name the file the name of the product, like on the website, so you know the name to search it, or you can create like a notes, Word doc, whatever it is, to save the actual links, because I've definitely had this situation where I screenshotted something, didn't remember where it even came from, really wanted to buy it, and couldn't find it. There's also a way to reverse image search on Google, so that's another option, but keeping everything organized from the beginning, especially if it's something you're like really interested in and you want, that's a really good idea. Okay, so we'll move on to like apps and hacks in just a second, but one thing I want to talk to you about as a photographer is to be mindful of color differences when you're screenshotting items online. So if you don't know this, photography based on the hue of light they use, whether it's like blue or yellow, that can really change the color of the product, like really change it. Not only do different brands use different photographers, but they might shoot different products differently, or they might be getting this product photo from their supplier who has used who knows who. All that to say, don't like rely too much on the photo. I think a lot of you know this if you've bought something off Amazon and it comes like in a totally different color than you planned, or it's like not as saturated as you planned. You know that there can be a lot of variety. So my hack around that is, number one, be mindful of color differences in the sense that don't create a space that's matchy-matchy. This is something that I feel like we're moving away from anyway when it comes to design trends, but pulling from like a whole range of lighter and darker hues that coordinate versus trying to match things is going to make your space work a lot better when you're shopping online. If you're just doing it for the mood board and you're not like too concerned about color because you're going to shop in real life, that's totally fine too. Tip number 2 is order swatches when possible. So paint chips, fabric samples, samples of your upholstery. Whenever you can get swatches, order those. Not only are they going to help you see the actual color, but they're also more fun because then you can take your mood board offline, which we'll talk about in a second, why that's beneficial. And then when your board is done, like let's say you finish the space, you have everything in there that you want to put in there. I would not advise that you go order everything at once. I would order like a piece and then match to it. Like try to go see as many things as possible. Or like if you're ordering off Amazon, order it and then send back what doesn't match. But don't have it in your heart that like your mood board's done, you've picked all your pieces, you're done. Because that's not the case. I guess a really specific example is when I was doing my girl garage, where there's like that yellow couch and these pink chairs and all kinds of pillows and cushions. I matched everything online, and I actually thought it was like way more bright colored than it ended up being, which was actually awesome because I wanted these more like muted tones, like a mustard yellow and a mauve-y pink versus like bright yellow baby pink. So it turned out that it was like actually way better in person than it was online, but I definitely tried to match like everything with these photos, and it worked out because I was again playing with hues instead of like match, but it was different than I expected. So I just want to like give that word of advice if you are new to mood boarding and like planning a space off of a mood board and literally ordering off of your mood board, that's something you might run into. Okay, before we get to hacks, let's talk about order of operations. When I hear people ask about mood boards, they're a lot of times asking like, what do I start with? What do I put in there first? So my rule of thumb across the board with a mood board is to like just pick something you love, like the one thing that's going to be your anchor piece in the space. Maybe that's a couch that you're in love with or already have. Maybe it's a rug with a pattern that you love and you're pulling colors from. So pick one thing that you know is going in there and then build off of it. Look at the vibe of that piece. Is it a vintagey rug? Is it a modern rug? Are we going to go with the modern theme? Are we going to contrast it with some antique pieces? So once you pick one thing, then you start building on top of it, and then you're not doing the big beginner mistake, which is what I like to call designing and avoid, where you're just picking items kind of in a vacuum and they're not like building off of each other and going together in a cohesive fashion. So let's talk about apps, and then this will probably make more sense to you because I think once you can visualize how you're pulling this together, it's easier to see how you can pull things in and change them. My number one go-to is Canva. I know that a lot of people like PicMonkey as well. Canva, I just create like a blank document. Sometimes it's like presentation size because that seems to work well, being like long and horizontal. And then I start with just uploading the image of my room. Then I make a little folder on the side and I upload all of those little baby screenshots. And then I just like literally click and drag them onto there, rearrange them, move them around. And there's actually a background removal tool. So if you get a product with a white background, you can actually remove it with this like little magical removal tool. I know there's a free version. I pay for the paid version, and I'm not sure if that tool comes with the free version, but I know that they have it. So yeah, that little tool helps you get rid of the white background so you can stack things on top of each other. I like to put things like put the couch, then size the table where it looks like it's next to the couch, and then do the vase like really small on top of the table. So then you can really visualize how things are coming together. Another software that you can use is actually PowerPoint. So a lot of you know my background is corporate finance and oil and gas, and so PowerPoint was like everything, like slide decks all day. So I got really good at PowerPoint, and that's actually where I started teaching myself not only graphic design, but mood boards, because you can do the same thing. You can like import photos, remove backgrounds, resize them, stack them up, start with like a blank presentation size thing. So if you know PowerPoint, that could be a good place to start too for all you corporate friends. Another really good hack is to actually draw on your images. So like let's say there's a fireplace that you want to remove, or there's like a little simple design element that you can just kind of sketch up. I like to do this in iPhone photos. If you click edit at the top, there's like ... tap that, and then it says markup. So this gives you a ton of little pens and pencils to draw all over your image. So this is easiest obviously on like an iPad, and if you have an Apple Pencil, that's even easier, but you can totally do this on your phone. I do it all the time. But I use this for like drawing design elements. Like for example, in the podcast studio plan, I drew like a herringbone wall with like an orange marker. Is it an exact replica of what it's going to look like? No, but it sure helps visualize what the space could look like with that. Another way to use it is if you have something you know you want gone, like a mantle, you can just blot it out, match it to the color of like the fireplace and scribble it out, and then it's gone, or change the color of things. But this lets you, if you're like more scribbly, and that's how you like visualize and process creatively, this is a really good hack to help you like draw onto your space and make the mood board really like look like what the space is going to be. Because as a DIY designer, we don't really use like crazy design software. This is like our workaround. This episode is sponsored by me. But seriously, I just have a couple things I want to tell you, and then we'll get right back to the interview. Number one, I am working on the most amazing immersive video course called Power School. This course is going to walk you through your first 6 power tools. I'll tell you exactly what to buy, how to use each tool, and there's even a corresponding project that we work on with each tool in succession, so they build off of each other. So we get one tool, we learn how to use it with a project, and then we move on to the next one, building your skills, building your tool stash, and building your confidence as we go. If you are interested in DIY, but power tools scare the heck out of you, you guys, I was there too. I was terrified of a saw before I dove in. This course is going to be exactly what you need to get started. You can get on the list to know when it's launching. I will leave the link in the show notes. So go pop in your name and email so you know when this goes live, because this could literally change your DIY game. Another really good hack is if you don't have an iPhone, you can use an app called Good Notes. This is actually the app that I use for my calendar too, because I can put a PDF of a calendar and then scribble all over it. So I feel like I get the digital and written version at the same time. But you can also upload an image to this app, Good Notes, and then scribble on it similarly to Markup. It's also nice because it syncs across. If you have the app on like your iPad and your phone, it syncs across those. So that's nice to have because when you're on the go, you can pull up your drawing and your sketch and your mood board, and there it is. Okay, so this is more important advice than you probably even realize, but don't be afraid to go analog. Digital is obviously great because it can go with you. It syncs between apps. It's very easy to do, to move things around, but you really can't beat mood boarding with a swatch book and actual paint chips and swatches of your prints and wallpaper samples and seeing how things work together in real life, because you can bring it into the actual space. You can see how the light interacts with it. Is it casting any shadows? How do the actual hues of the things interact together? At the end of the day, you're designing a physical space, so I think the more involved you can get with the physical items before you commit and really see how they work together, the easier it's going to be for you to make design decisions and to really create a cohesive space. That being said, you can use a digital mood board in conjunction with what I like to call a vibe tray or a swatch book page. So a vibe tray is where you have literally a tray and you just put things on that are kind of inspiring you about the space. Like maybe if you're doing a beachy room, you might have driftwood and a little vial of sand and some fabric and prints. So you can kind of feel some of the textures you might want to be bringing into the space, some of the colors, some of the just feelings, whether it's smooth or rough or earthy. So this vibe tray can really guide you as you do a digital mood board to kind of inspire you and pull from, and you could look at the sand and be okay, is there a wallpaper that has a similar texture to sand where it's not verbatim this is sand, but it's kind of inspired by these items in your vibe tray. And then a swatch book page is similar, but that's going to be your paint chips, your wallpaper samples, your fabric swatches from your pillows or your couches or whatever it is. These physical items will complement your digital mood board, so they really work together to help you have all the information digitally and be able to move it around and try new pieces on, try out the big things in a digital space, but also kind of get physical and visual with the things that are actually going to go in there. And then another quick hack for the digital mood board thing, which I forgot to cover, is when I'm in Canva or if you're in PowerPoint, you create your first page that has your image of the room kind of large in the back. You have all these elements you've added, kind of trying to place them around in the room, see how they work. And then you decide what if I take this a different direction? So don't delete that, just copy the page, delete what you don't want, switch in what you do want. So I do this if I'm comparing art pieces, I have almost my whole room done and I'm ooh, do I want this or this? I copy it, I change the art, and then I scroll up and down, back and forth, and I'm this one or this one, this one or this one. But it helps you visualize things next to each other and see how subtle changes can shift the entire space, which is super, super helpful because that's something that's very hard to visualize without having a big picture view, if that makes sense. Okay, with these tips, let's talk about how you will create a mood board for your own space and also create a mood board for that mini mood board challenge that's coming up that I'm so excited about. So I would say pick a room that you actually want to do something to, but if you literally don't know where to start, pick any room. Pick a room you're struggling with and you might not have plans to redo it, but you would like some direction, because here's the thing, a mood board can create that big picture plan and then you can slowly chip away, whether it's buying a new piece of decor, thrifting items, painting a wall. Over the course of, a month, 6 months, a year, you're changing the space a little by little, but you have this big picture perspective to guide you. So you're not just trying to match random stuff to what you already have and what you already feel you're committed to. Okay, so pick that space, clear out some of the items that you might not be keeping, take a photo, and then just start with either a creative, playful process or a functional like planning process, depending on like maybe how your brain works, or maybe if you're planning to just explore the possibilities or dive right in and actually do it. So a creative process is going to look like finding random items from your inspo boards, pulling in things that you maybe feel scared to try, maybe feel unsure about. Like there's no commitment in this. So literally pulling in all kinds of things, trying different things on in the space from inspo photos, like you are just letting yourself play and explore and translate that inspo, that Pinterest board, into your actual space in a visual way that then we can like turn into an actual design plan, where then we start with function and then we use this mood board kind of to inspire and inform that. So then if you're more on the practical side, or you really want to just like actually design this space, like make a plan and actually put it into practice, you don't really want to play around, you kind of already know what you want. So I would start by putting that photo up and then going immediately to that function and thinking about the programming you're putting in your space. So programming is a list of the different elements that need to happen. So a couch, a coffee table, a lamp, a rug, because we're going to be on the floor playing games. So programming is when you take like that list that I always talk about, where we start with, we sit down and we say, what do I want to do in this space? What activities am I going to do in this space? How does this space need to serve my lifestyle? We make that list of what we're doing in this space. When we translate that into actual elements like furniture or rugs or shelves or lights or whatever it is, that's called programming. So we can sit down and kind of start with this programming, and then once you have that list of these different specific pieces that need to go in the space, you can start shopping. Like you literally can start going places, screenshotting things like, okay, we're searching brown couches because that I know I want a brown leather couch that's modern. Let's find one that fits in the space with the color I want, the price range I want, the texture I want. And you can take that programming, you take your blank mood board, and you can start designing. And you can try things on as you go. You can still give yourself space to like experiment and try out like those paint colors you never thought you'd try, or a crazy wallpaper pattern, or whatever it is. But this side of the process is a little more like practical planning, mood board wise, versus like playful, let's just see what we can come up with. That being said, both of these methods are going to be accepted for this mini mood board challenge. So if you're in a place where you're like literally actually designing a space and you've needed to get a mood board done for a million years and you need a kick in the butt to get it done, this is your sign. This is the time to start. So pick that space, make that function activities list, make that programming list, and create a mood board for your space that you actually are going to use and is going to give you that springboard, that big picture plan to implement it. If you're someone that doesn't have any specific space you want to tackle, you don't feel like you have time or money, that is okay too. Not every season of life is the season to redo a room. Believe me, I know that. But I would still encourage you to take this time as like a creative exercise and just like give yourself a creative outlet, give yourself a break, let yourself explore your space in a new way and rethink things. It might just be that you create a beautiful mood board and you get better at design, or you define your style a little more. Or you find two pieces in the room that you could rearrange and your furniture layout is now so much better and it changes your life. Whatever it is for you, like take on this mood board challenge and dive in and make a mood board. It can be a space that's yours. It can be a space that's not even yours, but let yourself play, let yourself learn, because literally there's no mistakes. Like this mood board doesn't have to be anything real. It doesn't have to be a real space. So if you do something that is a mistake, first of all, there's no mistakes in design, but if it's a mistake, or it could be better, it could be something that works together better, that's fine because it's digital. It's not real. So wherever you are in your journey as a DIY designer, I just want to offer this challenge as a really good opportunity to experiment and learn, because like I always say, DIY is something you just have to dive into. You have to be willing to learn, willing to make mistakes, because that is how you get good. That is how you get the home of your dreams, is by building it around what you want, honing your skills. And if ever there was a safer, zero risk way to hone your skills, you guys, this is it. Because not only is it free, you could actually win money. You could come out with $500 to make that dream space a reality. And I just gave you some tools, some insider hacks. I'm not sharing this on Instagram, so if you listen to this episode, you know things and you can totally crush this challenge. So I just want to encourage you all to take this on. I cannot wait to see your spaces. I am literally so excited. I love seeing how uniquely beautiful everyone's is, how they think of things that I would never have thought of, creativity-wise, style-wise, colors that I'm scared to use in my house, like purple, and I hate blue in my house, but then I see it in some of your spaces and your designs and I'm like, whoa, that's it. Like, that's how you do blue. All that to say, dive in. I can't wait to see it. I will be rooting for you and you're totally gonna crush this. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you want to weigh in on any mood board hacks you have, or if you have any questions about this episode, let me know on social. You can screenshot, share in your stories and tag me, or just shoot me a quick DM with your question or suggestion. I love hearing from you guys. It literally makes my whole day. So thank you for tuning in, and I'll talk to you soon.
Home, home, I'm on my way back home.
Love this episode? Leave a comment on the blog post or use hashtag MakeSpacePodcast to share your thoughts. If this is your first time listening in, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay updated with the newest episodes. If you're a subscriber and you love the show, be sure to rate, review, or screenshot and share your favorite episode on social.
You're listening to this podcast, so I know you've got a curious mind. Here's a helpful fact you may not know yet. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $900 on average. Pop over to Progressive.com, answer some questions, and you'll get a quick quote with discounts that are easy to come by. In fact, 99% of their auto customers earn at least one discount. Visit Progressive.com and see if you can enjoy a little cash back. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $946 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2024 and May 2025. Potential savings will vary.